Good afternoon from our home in the Great Smoky Mountains. It's Ryan, and on today's video, I want to go over all of the video and audio equipment that we use here on this channel. We get people often asking us in the comments, hey, what camera did you use on that shot? Or how did the world did you capture that particular sequence of events or things like that? There's a camera I really enjoy using on mountain coasters and in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So I'll show you exactly what I'm using to get the videos that you guys are watching. I'll also give you a little quick mini tour of my home office where I do all of my editing and show you some of the software and things I use to edit videos as well. Hopefully I can share this video with any of you who ask in the future, hey, what are you using? This is currently what I'm using in 2025. So whether you're wanting to start a YouTube channel or you just want to shoot better home videos when you go off on vacation, I hope this video helps. I know a lot of this stuff has helped us get to 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. Before we get started, I'm going to put links to everything I'm going to show you down in the description. They are affiliate links to Amazon. If you buy through Amazon, it benefits our channel. It doesn't cost you anymore. But if you find a better deal at Costco or Sam's Club or something like that, by all means, get it wherever you can at the best price. And I will say, you don't need to get a bunch of different gear to start a YouTube channel, to start filming and creating content if you want to, even if you're just looking to, again, capture your kids growing up in some home movies or things like that. You can use what most people all have, which is just your good old cell phone. I have the iPhone 16 Pro here. This is the Pro Max, actually. I'm recording on Brie's 16 Pro. The main difference I saw between the 16 Pro and Pro Max was a little bit bigger screen and battery life. So I went with the Pro Max, and I know there's a lot of Android people out there will say their camera has always been far superior, and I could probably agree to that, but I'm an Apple guy. I edit on Apple. It just makes it seamless to AirDrop, and most of the stuff we will do, I'll use my iPhone 16 Pro. I'm going to show you my favorite go-to camera, but at the end of the day, I find myself often just shooting a photo or getting a close-up clip of something or far away clip, because my main camera, it does not zoom very well, very clear. So there are times where I may be in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and I see a bear in the distance. If I just use my standard camera or one of my action cameras, you're not gonna be able to see the bear very well. However, a 15 Pro Max or any of the 16 Pros, you're gonna get great optical digital zoom. And again, there's probably some Android phones as well, newer ones that you can get some great long distance, very clear, crisp shots. So if you're starting a YouTube channel, I mean, just pull out your iPhone or your Android with a decent camera. Hopefully it's not too old, and you can just start recording and you can actually capture some really good stuff. So the next thing I'd recommend if you're starting off with a phone is to use some form of stabilization. I've clicked on YouTube videos and I start watching and I feel like I'm just bouncing all over the place. It's way too shaky. You got to have smooth footage or you'll start losing people. So I highly recommend the DJI Osmo 6. It's a pretty simple setup where you can open this up and you can set it on a table whenever you're not filming, or if you want to be able to extend up and you can get high over crowds, which this has been very helpful if I've ever been to something where there's a lot of people, whether it's a fireworks or some type of show, and I'm in the back and I wouldn't be able to see very well. I can put this thing up pretty high, way up there, and I'm able to get shots as I can also control it. And it's very simple to put on your phone. All you have to do is just put this little thing around, whether you have an Android or an Apple, it doesn't really matter. And I have it like so, and it's a magnet that will lock in. And trust me, when I first started using this, I was so nervous that this thing was going to fall off, but it stays on there very well. And you could walk around a theme park or off on a trail or whatever it is that you're trying to document and film, and it will make this very, very smooth. So I'll put a link to the DJI Osmo 6 down in the description along with everything else I'm going to show you again. So along with very smooth footage, I want to be able to hear what you are saying. So sometimes I've clicked on videos and it's just terrible audio. I have no idea what they're saying. Right now it's very windy as I'm filming, but I got a little wind mic. And then the next thing I want to point out is these DJI Mic 2s. I started out with the DJI Mic 2 and these things worked great. Again, I upgraded to the Mic 2 if you were to ask me which of the two would you get, and I will say there are all sorts of cheap mics. You could go to Amazon and there might be a pair for like 40, 50 bucks. I'll just say when it comes to audio, you get what you pay for, and DJI just makes fantastic products. In fact, they came out with a new smaller version than the ones that I have. If you've ever watched any of our other videos, you notice I'm often wearing some type of polo shirt. And the big reason is I can clip in my mic like so, and it stays in place really well. Whereas on a t-shirt, it sometimes gets a little floppy. So the new DJI little mini ones that they just recently came out with, there's nothing wrong if you want to use onboard recording of a cell phone, and you could probably get decent quality. Now, if it is getting windy, you're going to run into some challenges. So having the wireless mic with the little dead cat here makes a huge difference in windy environments. But I love the fact that I have two of these. So if it's me and my wife Brie, we could both be mic'd, and I could just start walking, or she could be walking somewhere else, and the mic just continues to record. So I could just keep walking all the way down my hill here in my yard, and you're just gonna keep hearing me as though I'm standing right next to you, even though I'm going all the way down here. And I mean, I could just keep walking down here. Oh, there's our Halloween pumpkin. Man, that thing's looking a little iffy there. It's kind of nice if we're walking on a trail and I have a mic on Brie and she's coming up around the corner. I've utilized this in the past. I'm going to be able to hear exactly what she's saying, even though I may not even hear what she's saying until I sit down to edit the footage. So to me, I love a good wireless mic that has the ability to do that. I would be happy with any one of the three DJI mics, whether the original version, the Mic 2, or the new minis that they have. I've used Rode products in the past. I think there are some other good wireless mics that are out there that kind of give DJI a run for their money. I've just been happy with DJI products. I'm glad I got DJI wireless mics because I eventually got away from using my cell phone primarily to the next product that I wanted to highlight, which would be the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And this has become my favorite go-to camera. For anybody out there who's wanting to start making videos for YouTube, or if you're just a dad that wants to record your kids on Christmas morning and going on vacations, this thing has become my favorite camera to always have on me. It's just super simple and very compact. I just use this little plastic cover and it literally fits right into my pocket. So as I'm at the theme park or whatever, I mean, it slides right into my pocket, and I don't feel like I have some big giant camera rig that I'm walking around. Most of all our videos now are shot with this thing. It's not very expensive, and I just love how compact it is. The big disadvantage I found with the phone is if I was trying to film myself in dark settings, the front-facing camera is pretty poor quality and low light. The beauty of this thing is it can just switch around from filming myself to filming the subject that I'm talking about. And I can just, a touch of a button, and it will just go back and forth. And I'm getting the same camera quality. Then I have this little display screen. I've been to events recently and I've noticed there were a ton of people with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 at the event. It is just kind of a easy, simple thing to vlog and document things. When I first started out, I didn't intend to have a bunch of DJI products. It just started happening over time. Again, I started with that gimbal, then I got their wireless mics, and then I started really, again, researching how powerful this thing is, and the fact that, again, I want to be able to switch back and forth. It's so compact. I shoot in D-Log-M and then color grade it. I don't think you need to. I think you could shoot in their standard color profile with this right out of the box. And I don't think there'd be a big difference. I don't think most people with their naked eye could tell the difference between a color graded versus a non-color graded standard color profile with this thing. It's just a little side note that I do. If you were to pick up a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, I would definitely get the Creator Combo, which does come with one of these wireless mics. And it also comes with an extended battery right here. This is the standard little clip, and here's the extended battery, so you could connect this in and film a lot longer throughout the day. One thing that's not included in the Creator Combo that I did pick up is this smaller little base. Again, this is the standard size base. You can see it's much smaller, and then here's the extra battery pack. So on a standard day when I go out and about, I really like having this little lower profile, especially if I'm gonna set it in the dash in front of us in the car, because I've tried to set it in the front of the dash with this thing on, and it is almost hitting the glass. So it's hard to film inside of a vehicle or certain situations. So I like having a minimal low profile with this extra little piece I'll put a link to down below. If I need some battery throughout the day, I can simply connect this in real quick, swap it out, and give it a quick charge as I'm filming it for a longer period of time. So I absolutely love the Pocket 3. This has become my go-to camera for most everything we do day to day, whether I'm driving around or walking around somewhere. I really love that it has essentially a gimbal built in. So there's lots of different modes that you can set it to keep it fixed on a horizon or keep it smooth. So I will say that the traditional gimbal and phone can come out with much smoother footage. It does have that built-in gimbal that comes out pretty smooth. But I will say, if you are in a situation where you're walking, you got to kind of almost have a little bit of a ninja walk as you're walking to get it smoother. If you're too much, there's too much of this going on, it will show up when you sit down to edit the footage. So not perfect when it comes to image stabilization and not being too shaky, but it's pretty good. Most people can't tell. Sometimes I get a little frustrated with it not going the way I want it to, and it gets kind of crooked at times. A couple little down things, but overall, the fact that it's so compact, it's easy to take with me, the footage comes out clear, and it works seamlessly with the Mic 2s. This is our go-to camera. The next camera probably gets us the most questions in our comments as to what in the world are you using to get that shot, which would be the Insta360. This has become one of my favorite cameras. It's just so much fun to use. So this is the Insta360 X4, and I actually start out with the Insta360 X3. You could pick up the X3 or the X4, and you're going to end up with some really fun footage with whatever it is you're trying to do. X4 has some upgrades. You can see the screen size, I think, is a little bit bigger, and the biggest difference was just quality of the footage, which is why I made the upgrade to the X4. But this thing has what we call an invisible selfie stick. So as I extend this thing out, as I'm holding it and I'm walking out with it, it will completely disappear. I've used this on mountain coasters where our daughter Hannah has been holding this up in the air, or I've used it on places around the national park where I'm walking out on a platform and just holding it out. The stick itself completely disappears. And I've had people leave comments and say, hey, you're not allowed to use a drone in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Correct, this is not a drone. It's a 360-degree camera, but when you go to edit it, it removes everything down the middle and it just stitches everything on the sides together to make footage. And you can actually really manipulate the footage in some pretty creative ways. This is a waterproof camera. I took it with us to Hawaii and I did some snorkeling with it and was able to get some really fun shots with the kids. One of my favorite things about it is I don't have to worry about which direction I'm facing it, or I can hand this to a kid, which I have in the past, as they go up a chairlift that I perhaps don't want to get on, and I just ask them, just extend it out and just hold it. And then I can manipulate the footage afterwards. I don't have to worry about them pointing the camera or looking in the wrong direction, or if I'm on a ride of some sort, I don't have to worry that if I look around too much, that I'm gonna ruin the footage. So that's probably why this is my favorite action camera. If I could only have one action camera, because again, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is not waterproof. And so there are situations where I put the DJI Pocket 3 away and I like to switch to this for certain shots. Another situation I recently used this was zip lining on one of the highest and longest zip lines in the Great Smoky Mountains and probably this whole region. It was a super long zip line ride, and I was pretty nervous about being up connected to this thing as high as I was. I'm just holding the camera like this, and as you see the footage, the stick completely disappears. And I can edit the footage to have it show me or show what I'm looking at any point, and I can go back and forth all I want. So it gives me a lot of options when I sit down to edit. There's one downside about the Insta360 X4, which there's a lot of good stuff, but the downside is it doesn't do low light very well. So I got this next item to combat that, which would be the Insta360 Ace Pro. I really like this over GoPro. If you're looking to get a action camera of some sort, this is waterproof, so I could take this with me snorkeling, or I could have put this on, like I have it right now, on a little head device. So I could take this whether I'm riding a ride or if I'm getting on a zip line or whatever. And this thing is gonna do a fantastic job capturing whatever I look at. So as long as you're not looking around too much and your footage ends up terrible, a traditional action camera like this is perfectly fine. I love the fact that this has a little flip up screen, whereas some of the older GoPros don't. But I did a comparison of the latest and greatest GoPro versus this when it came to low light footage, which was my concern about the 360. It was specifically Tron. We were gonna ride Tron at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World for the first time. So I wanted to be able to film it. However, I knew that 360 camera footage would turn out really dark when it went inside of the Tron ride. So I just had this on a chest strap because they required a chest strap, and sat on the ride, and we filmed Tron with this Insta360, the Ace Pro. I felt like the Ace Pro gave you a little edge as far as quality. I think they even might have a newer Ace Pro too. So the Insta360 action camera, if you're looking between this and GoPro, everything I've seen, I like the image quality of the Insta360 better than some of the GoPros that I've seen. One of my favorite little tripods to keep with me in my bag whenever I'm traveling is this little one right here. This is not very expensive on Amazon. It does come with a little phone clip, so if you are using your phone, it's built in. I will often use my 360 with this, but it opens up. It's very lightweight, it's very compact, and I can take it, say over here, basically a little mini tripod on the go. This thing is great if I'm shooting by myself and I just want to be able to get a quick shot doing what we're doing. I have a bigger, larger tripod I'm using right now because it is a windy day, but just how compact this thing is, I'll put a link to it down in the description. I would definitely recommend, if you're starting off, get one of these, whether you're using a phone or you want to twist this little phone adapter off. So now that I have it on a tripod, look, Ma, no hands, I can actually switch this around. Just tap that. And another feature of the Osmo Pocket 3 that I love is I can triple tap on my screen and it will track my face and it will follow me wherever I go. So if I'm shooting solo, let's say on a trail, and I want to be able to say, hey, here's where I'm at, I'm showing you something, this thing will just track me wherever I go. Or if I'm fishing with my son, I've utilized this because I want my hands free to bait the hook and do whatever I want to do. So I'm able to just throw it on this thing and it will keep following me wherever I go. So this little tripod, super cheap. I'll put a link to down below. I find it to be very helpful. There's a few more things I wanted to point out. I really like this as far as if I'm traveling somewhere. It is made by Ulanzi, I believe. And this thing is super powerful as far as the suction cup. So if I do want to mount a camera, whether an action camera or whatever it is I'm using, I've even used my cell phone where I can have a number of different adapters. This thing is super powerful. I was very nervous about having something on the outside of my car that if I went too fast or hit a bump, but I've been using this quite a lot. So if you're doing any type of driving and want to be able to capture where you're going, this thing's been working out great. It just has this little pump that takes the air out of the suction area. And once it gets down to that red line, you know you're pretty secure. And it's hard to get off once it's on. So I've used this dozens and dozens of times everywhere I go. If I'm doing any outside the vehicle shots, I put it typically vertically on top of a vehicle, but it is strong enough you could stick on the side of a vehicle or something like that. But it's worked out great for me, so I'll put a link down to this particular exterior vehicle mount is the way I utilize it as. One other thing I keep in my bag that I highly recommend to have is extra power. So as the day goes on, you eventually need a little power. So I have this one by Anker. It's not a cheap one. There are all sorts of really cheap ones you can get, but I just keep this in my bag. It gives me some different ways to plug in. I've been happy with this. I get a lot of charge out of it. It's not the lightest and most compact, but it can plug into just about anything that I have, whether my phone or any of the DJI products. It can quickly charge them, or I can be using them as I plug in. This next thing I picked up on sale, we've been testing it here at our home, but I haven't used any footage from, which would be my DJI drone. So this is the DJI, I think it's the 3. Let me see. So again, over time, I just realized I had a bunch of DJI products. I didn't intend for that. They've never sent me any products. I've not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. This is the DJI Mini 3. I think I picked up for about $300. If I were to get one, I would try to get one with a screen built in, but we've been testing this at home. The quality of it is fantastic. We've just messed around with it here at our house, looking at the different settings. We just decided to grab this Mini 3 at $300, but I would perhaps get a 4 or whatever you're able to get in your budget. For me, I just got to go take the test so that I can start using the footage. The footage that we've kind of just messed around and tested with here at our house is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm just need to take that test, and then you guys should hopefully start seeing some footage of our drone real soon. But it's getting cold out. I'm losing the sun. So let's go into my office and I'll show you a couple of different software and things that I use in my office. There's a quick overview of some of my favorite camera and audio equipment that I use here in my office that I built in my garage. And I have a sit stand desk. I really like this thing to kind of break up the day so I can stand for a little bit and sit for a little bit when I'm doing whatever type of work I am doing, or if I'm editing a video of any kind. I do like this Blue Yeti microphone. Any of the voiceovers that I do are on this Blue Yeti. I think it does a pretty good job. I'll put a link to down below. I have a MacBook Pro. It's probably about 2 years old now, but really any of the new MacBook Airs would probably do a fantastic job. I just have a smaller one because I utilize multiple screens. Any Mac that you get would come with their iMovie built in, and they are actually very powerful. You could run a whole YouTube channel off of iMovie. When I first started editing, I was using Adobe Premiere Pro, but at the end of the day, I'm just very happy with Final Cut Pro. There's a lot of things I'm able to do in editing with Final Cut Pro. When it comes to music on our videos, we use Epedemic sound. I'll put a link to Epedemic down in the description. They have a pretty good size library. It's about 18 bucks a month. But you can check out the link down in the description if you're looking to sign up for a music service. One other website I recommend checking out is VidIQ. I'll put a link to them down in the description to get a free trial. It has all sorts of different tools if you are trying to run a YouTube channel, to give you maybe some ideas on a thumbnail or a title if you feel stuck. They have lots of different suggestions they give you. Along with a sit stand desk, I also use this keyboard, which is a little more ergonomic to help out with my wrists and my arms and posture. I used to use a standard Apple keyboard, which seamlessly worked, but this one connects in with no problems, and I feel like just for a longer workday, it's a lot better for my posture. I'll put a link to down below. And then I also love this Hydrate Spark water bottle. So every time I take a drink and set it back on the desk, it actually calculates how much I drank, and every so often it will flash and remind me to drink. So if I am working on a project, it just kind of catches my eye and reminds me to keep drinking more water throughout the day. As far as external storage, I've been really happy with these SanDisk drives. So if you have any type of computer, I can plug right in and store all of my footage. I can edit right off of this. It's very fast, or just store additional B-roll clips and old projects that are completed on here to reference in the future. And as far as micro SD cards, I've been really happy with this particular one. It's got plenty of storage, and I've never had a single issue with it formatting or writing or any errors. This one works perfect with my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and gives me plenty of storage. That's going to wrap up this video checking out our video and audio gear that we like to use and we'll be using this next year. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, hit the thumbs up button down below. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll do my best to help you out. And again, all of the links to the products I covered are down in the description. Anything you purchase through those links, not only those items, but any item you purchase does help support our channel. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next adventure. Micah, you want to be my assistant? I need you to throw things to me so I catch them, like right here. Can you help me do that? Okay, audio and have is the DJI Mic Mini. Are they the Mini? No, I can do lots of different controls, and it's very simple to try it again. And that one, huh? I need to list the original ones on eBay. I gotta sell this one on eBay too. I'm a little behind on listing stuff, but that would be my DJI